where this story begins is it's in Bouctouche. Now, I'm showing you here a map of Bouctouche, and I want to concentrate on the river, specifically what's found in the river. Now, if you go downtown Bouctouche, there's a pharmacy called the Guardian. If you go behind the Guardian, it's right next to the bridge, actually, right in front of the church. So there's a tiny little boardwalk, that allows you to have steps that go down to the shore. Oh, sorry, it's making noise and I don't want it to. Okay, so along the path are these wild roses. Now, there's a doctor that contributed to the building of this boardwalk. I forgot his name. I think it might be Dr. LeBlanc, but I'm not sure. Anyways, I want to talk about what was found on the shores or what you could possibly find. Bouctouche was known as one of Al Capone's rum running satellite places during Prohibition. And it was a very popular place for bootleggers and running rum. And now, the Bouctouche River is full of silt. And the silt and the mud are very good at preserving things. Now, local legend has it that you can still find some of that rum in the mud along the shores over here. I do not suggest you go looking for it, though. There's many broken bottles, many dangerous things. The current there is kind of strong, so do not go into the water and looking for some 300-year-old bottle of wine or cognac or whatever. But the reason why I'm bringing this up and about the things that you can find in the mud here in Bouctouche is because the history that can be found there. Now, let's go into our car, okay? Let's leave the shore of Bouctouche and let's take a little drive north or northeast of Bouctouche and going towards the Kent building where they make Kent homes. There's a little park here on the right with the statue of Irving and some nice little picnic tables there where you can go and look at the river and contemplate being a pirate or perhaps being a rum runner yourself. And if you admire the sailboats and the little marina over here, that marina was not always there. This is brand new. See, what was there before the marina was a sawmill. Now, back in let's go back, all right? I see that anchor over there. They found that in the mud. When they were dredging to put this marina here, they were getting a lot of the silt and a lot of the mud out. And they found several anchors because it's a harbor, right? And the ships used to be, apparently, they used to build ships here as well. And big ships used to come in here and they would lose their anchors. But this, right at this spot, I think was a sawmill. And they would have logs coming down the river, just like they used to back in the day. And they would process the logs here at this area. And so I want to show you, because this is all about the mud in the river. So if you go into the marina over here, it's a beautiful little place. Nice picnic tables. You got a nice breeze coming in. Feels good. All right. It looks very like woo, shishi poo poo. compared to like where I come from. But on the mantle over here is wood that they found in the mud at the harbor, where the sawmill was when they were dredging for the thing. So, and that is from the virgin forest, they say. What they mean, it's old cut lumber. Now, that lumber, that piece of lumber, it's not just like, ooh, it's so nice, and what it is, it's a testament to indigenous preservation of the forest. We only took what we needed, and that's how those trees grew that large. Now, it says that the sawmill was acquired by the Irving family in 1882, I believe. But if you read about what was the relationship like, I'm gonna leave Al Capone for a minute here. I want to go to a website, the Colchester Historium.ca, and someone there wrote about the relationship between the Mi'kmaq people and the fisheries, a historical perspective. Maybe this is going to sound dry to you, but I think it's very interesting and important. So, the reason why the person who wrote this, now who wrote this anyways, as an archivist and historian, I would like to raise awareness of the historical context of the Mi'kmaq fisheries in Mi'kma'ki. I hope this will create a better understanding of treaties and the relationship between indigenous peoples and settlers. The following is a narrative that has been constructed from primary and secondary written historical sources. It should be noted that some of these sources are colonial in nature and offer only one, sometimes biased, perspective that is not told directly from the perspective of the Mi'kmaq people. That said, written documentation, despite their biases, can be sources of valuable information, particularly with regards to Mi'kmaq settler relations. It also offers insight on Mi'kmaq cultural landscapes and how these changed drastically following the settlement of European colonies. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, now, remember when I said that used to be a sawmill? Now, the Bouctouche River is rich in shellfish and different species of salmon and everything. If people are cutting down the forest and they're using the river as a way to transport logs to the sawmill so they can be processed and sold to Britain without compensation to the indigenous people, and meantime damaging the river system so that no fish can live there. See, there are certain stereotypes that indigenous people are lazy and they're dependent upon the government. I don't want this to be a website of, political reasons, but it's important historically. And if we're going to be talking about what can be found in the river, I think that we should look at from a different perspective, from the indigenous perspective. And although these buildings are nice and these logs are nice, coming from my perspective, they mean something a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? So, they write here in this website, perhaps the most valuable written documentation with regards to our understanding of how the Mi'kmaq people lived pre-contact are accounts known as the Jesuit Relations, which were written by the Jesuits who traveled with explorers during early contact, particularly during the 17th century. It provides a small, albeit biased, window into the lives of the indigenous people of the region. It is among the first written documentation describing Mi'kmaq. One thing that can be distilled from the Jesuit Relations is the importance of waterways and bodies of water to the Mi'kmaq people. In one account, Jesuit Jean Millet uses the term ichthyophagy, fish eaters, to describe the Mi'kmaq people, stating they lived off of fish during 3 seasons of the year. Another Jesuit, Marc Lescarbot, likewise acknowledges the importance of fish to the Mi'kmaq, stating that for all the spring and summer and part of the autumn, having fish in abundance for themselves and their friends without taking any trouble, they seek hardly any other food. The relationship between Mi'kmaq fishing and the water is undeniable. It existed prior to European contact and continues today. The Mi'kmaq people were considered some of the most skilled indigenous seafarers in North America, as evidenced in the Jesuit relations. They relied heavily on the water and fishery for subsistence. Many historians have downplayed the importance of water in the past. Other historians, however, have described the Mi'kmaq as spending up to 10 months of the year obtaining 90% of their food requirements from coastal zones and the sea. Two historians to acknowledge the central role of fishing the Mi'kmaq people are Bernard Hoffman and William Wicken. Both argue that the description of the Mi'kmaq people as hunter-gatherers prior to contact is inaccurate, because Mi'kmaq did not move from one random location to another, but rather traveled seasonally to very specific regions that were abundant and well-known fishing grounds. They would return to these locations year after year. Furthermore, hunting game was not the primary form of subsistence. Bernard Hoffman calls the concept of the Mi'kmaq were hunter-gatherers as cliché. He states that, with respect to the subsistence economy, the evidence seems to indicate that fish, sea mammals, and other marine products were basic to Mi'kmaq existence, and that hunting activities became important and essentially only during 3 months of the winter. Hoffman highlights the fact that Mi'kmaq summer villages were almost always located along waterways or the shore. This, he says, were primarily due to the fact that water and canoes were the main means of transportation, but also the second, only slightly less important factor was the nature of food resources. Locations of communities were divided and arranged according to bays and watersheds to ensure equal access to resources. Hoffman estimates, based on historical accounts, that were approximately 46 Mi'kmaq summer villages in Nova Scotia, 35 being along waterways and others along coastal shores. He poignantly states that we may have little doubt that the sea offered considerably more in the line of food resources than did the land. It is crucial to understand the importance of water and the role it played in Mi'kmaq culture in order to grasp just how life-altering European settlement was for the Mi'kmaq. Okay, I'm gonna have to leave it there for right now. I know it's very amateurish and it doesn't look very professional, but I'm gonna make these videos better, I promise. It's just right now I'm trying to get them out there because I want to give you guys more. Anybody who buys the canoe paddles, I want you guys to just experience a lot more. And I think with this video I kind of touched upon a little bit of what I'm going for, that there's another side to a story, and maybe from an indigenous perspective it's a little bit, I don't want to ruin your vacation, but there's some history here. Anyways, thank you. If you watched the video this long, thank you so much. I'm sorry it's a little bit dry, a little bit history, and I hope you go and visit some other places. But the shoreline is still a very nice place to go and see. And I hope you can find some arrowheads, some beach glass. There's lots of history there. Okay, thank you. I'm going to make some more videos now. Okay, bye-bye.